Hello friends, in this session we are going to develop this application from scratch. So let's look at the architecture of the application. So user wants to insert the blob and club objects. He can go to a browser, give a name and an image, and the request is then taken up by our backend application, and then it is stored inside the database. Similarly, if he wants to see the results, he will request in the browser. The request is taken by our application, goes back to the database gives the output back to the application, which we show it back to the user. So this is the overall architecture of how the application is going to work. The client, there are two parts over here. One is client and one is the server. Anything which request is the client, and anything which provides data is the server. In this case, Chrome browser, or say for example a browser inside an Android phone, becomes our client, and the the place where they request is the server. So the data will be provided from the server to the client. So let's go ahead and make this application. So this is the last application that we created, and this is just a hello world application. Let me just run this once. Go over here and run on server, and we'll be able to just see hello world inside our application, inside the browser. Wait for a moment and let the Tomcat start, and if we say hello.jsp, we should be able to see hello world. Now let's modify this application so that we can show a name and a place where the user can send the location of the image. So here we can say something like name, and then the user is supposed to insert some text. So input type equal to text, and image, we can say input type. Again, this is not actually an image, this is just the location where the image is supposed to be taken. So image is text. And now let us see what we see in the output. Moment, it will refresh, and as you can see, it is showing name and an image location. Now this data has to go to the server. So to do that, we can use something like a form, and this form has to be submitted. So we can create a form, and then we can say give the option for the user to submit. Input type equal to submit. As you can see, Eclipse auto updates or auto guides you onto the syntax of the code of HTML as well. So let's go back over here and see what can we see. We can see a submit query button, but submit query, we are not submitting any query, so let's have only submit option. So we can do that by having a tag called value equal to submit. Save it and run it, and here we can see just a submit button, but the data has to go somewhere onto the server. So we can say input action. Where do we want to submit on the server? Oh, we have not created anything, so we need to create something on the server where we can post this. So let's create something on the server. Let us go ahead and create an application, a servlet. Go over here, servlet. Let us name this as insert p. Now it says that the servlet name cannot be empty, and it says the package. So let's create a package first. Go over here, new, and package. Let's name it as core. As we can see, a core package is created over here. Now we can create all the servlets inside this core package. Right click, new, and a servlet. Let us name this as insert p. It's giving a warning saying by convention Java type names usually start with a uppercase letter. So let's make this as insert b, and the warning is gone. Let's click on the finish button. The Eclipse will now create a servlet for us. Let us look at the things which is already created. We get a doGet and doPost method inside it, which takes a request and a response. A request and a response. Now doGet is, if you see doPost, the doPost again calls doGet. So all the requests that we possibly get will be uh, inside doGet. But what is this doPost and doGet? So uh, HTTP is the protocol by which we do the transfer between client and server. And there are two kinds of methods supported inside HTTP protocol: get method and post method. Let us look at these methods in a bit detail. So inside a get method, it passes the parameters as a part of the URL. So for example, if you go to Google and if you say something like this and you press enter, you see q equal to the text that we wanted to search. So this is a get request being transferred to the server. In the post request, we do not see it in the URL, but it is passed as HTTP headers. So, and there is a limit with the get call. So the URL has got some limit, like say 512 characters or something like that. And we cannot pass more than that. So if you want to pass a huge image file as a get method, it is not possible. But with the post method, there is no limit on the number of data which you can basically pass from the client and server. And those are received inside do get and do post. And do post again calls do get in our case, and all the data comes over here. Let us write something over here. Say for example, system.out.println and say inside servlet. Wait for a minute for the Eclipse to process it. Okay, system.out.println, and then let us say something like inside servlet and save this. Now, if we go at the top, we see a web servlet annotation. Now, anything which starts with at the rate is an annotation, and it is saying this is insert B. Copy and paste it inside our action tag. And let us make this as a get request. By default, it is get only, but we'll still mention it specifically saying that it is get. Let us refresh this page. It is refreshed now, and when we create a new servlet, it's better that we restart the server once. So again, and finish, restart server, yes please, and the server is now restarted. And let us call this method yes. Now here we'll say hello.jsp and we'll get this hello image. We can write anything we want, press the submit button, and the servlet is getting called. It is the same system.out.println that we have made it over here. So we are getting the input inside the doGet method. Now let us take the input from the JSP page and show it on the servlet. So to take it, we need to have a name of this particular input. So name equal to, and we'll say image name, for example, and we can have any name that we want. And here we'll say image path. Save this, and we can go back to our servlet. Now, to take the name from the client, we need to use something like this request object, which is there at the top, request dot get parameter, and then the first one was image name, I think so, and it was, yes, image name and image path. So let us take image name, and we can now put it inside a variable, say for example string image name. And similarly we can do the same for image path, string and image path, request.get parameter, and here image path. Let's see now whether the variables are coming properly or not. Let us execute this, and okay, so go over here inside our variable, and we can go back to, say for example, hello.jsp, and the image, and we can just press the submit. So as we can see, let's go below, and if we go over here, we can see that the output uh, is coming as image name and image path. It is exactly what is there in the URL over here. So this is what we have sent from the client to the server. Now this shows that we are able to pass input from the client back to the server. Now let us take the image location, image path, and try to get the file from it. Let us remove this, and file equal to new, and file, and whatever, wherever the image path is there, let's get that file. Okay, so now file, what is file? Let us tell the compiler that it is a IO part, and okay, now let us convert, let us make a input stream out of the file, and then put that input stream inside a binary stream so that we can put it inside the blob. Now before doing all this, let us make a DB connection. So to create a DB connection, let's create another Java class which will act as our interface for the database. So let's go to core and new class, and let us name it as DB manager, and finish. Now Eclipse will create a class called DB manager for us. Let us make a connection con and initialize with the null object. Let us tell the compiler what is connection. So connection is java.sql, and let's see, it will import the required path to use this connection for us. Now let us say get connection as a method name, and it is going to return a connection. Okay, so now we have created a method called get connection, and it is going to return us a connection, return con. So that will remove the error marking from Eclipse. Let's check if con not equal to or con equal to null. So now if the value of connection is null, that is no connection, then let us create the connection. There are some steps while creating a connection. So the steps are as follows. Here we need to do a two-step process. One, initialize the driver, and second, connect to the database. Now, for Oracle, this is the driver name which we will have to initialize. And to connect to the database, this is the URL that we have to use. That Oracle is listening to 1521 port, and it is the Express edition. And username is DPMS and password is Suma. Now let us do that inside our code. So class dot for name, and then just copy paste the driver part. So oracle.jdbc.driver.oracle driver, just put it over here, and then let us make the connection. So con okay, so now let us tell the compiler to use class. It's telling us to surround it in try catch. So what happens over here is, in case if there is an issue while initializing the driver or getting the connection, then it will throw an exception, which we are going to catch it over here. We can actually make a generic exception, as this is not a production code, and just write exception E. So this will catch all the connections and display it if there is an issue. Now let us initialize the connection. So driver manager dot get connection, and there are various arguments which is taking over here. So get connection, and then we can pass the arguments that we want. So we are basically going to give a URL and username and password. So let us copy paste the connection from the from here and put it over there. So JDBC localhost xe1521, and this is becomes our first argument, and the second argument is the username. So in our case it is dbms, and the third argument is the password, which is suma. Okay, so now the connection is initialized, and we are going to get the connection. Let us take this connection inside con object, and that is what it is going to return. So now we can have a connection from the database into our servlet application. Now inside our servlet, let us make a prepared statement. Now prepared statement, uh, after we get the connection, we can use prepared statement to execute the queries like insert or display or anything. So let us create a prepared statement that we have to insert two values. So prepared statement equal to con dot, oh, we need to get the connection first. So let us get the connection. Con equal to db manager dot, okay. So we cannot directly use this connection because it is not static. I mean, we need to create an object and then we can use it. We can actually make it very simple. We can just write static over here like this, and then we can make this as static. So now we can directly use the class name to get the values. So db manager dot get connection, and we'll get the connection inside con. Let the compiler understand what connection is. And now compiler understand what con is. Now con dot create con dot prepare statement, okay, and then we have to give an SQL. The SQL is we need to insert inside a table called bstore. So insert into bstore values, and we have to give the parameters. So let us give the parameters as question mark comma question mark, and the first argument is the name and the second argument is the binary blob object. So let us, it's asking what is prepared statement, and we'll tell him this is prepared statement. And again it will ask us to surround in try catch, which is fine, just surround it in try catch. And now we have a prepared statement with a query inside it. Now the first string is pretty simple, that we can just say ps dot set string, and which is name, which is the first argument inside our query, is which is the image name. This is clear. This should insert the first string inside our database. Now to insert a blob object, there are specific things which has to be done. Actually, let us do that in another session. We'll create another session just for the blob and the display part. Thank you for watching. Hello friends. In this session, we are going to continue developing our application. So we were supposed to use the blob object to from the image and then store it onto the server. So let's into the database. So let us go ahead and do that. So we have already created a file. Now this file has to be converted into a stream. So we need a file input stream. I'll name it as is, and I'll name it as null right now. Let the compiler understand what this is. Okay. Now once we have the file, let us create a stream from the file inside the file input stream. So to do this, let us convert a file into a binary stream. So it is very simple. Is equal to new file input stream, and then the name of the file. In our case, it's just a file, and save this. So now is contains the stream to the file which the user is sending us. Now we need to put it inside a blob object. To set binary stream, and then we are going to use three parameters: parameter index, input stream, and length. So the parameter index becomes 2, the stream is is, and the length is length of the file. So file dot length, and it's returning a long, but this takes an integer. So let us make this convert typecast it inside an integer. Perfect. Now let us use let us actually execute this and put it inside the database. Execute update, and let's see if this actually works. Let us go back to our hello world application, refresh this, and let's have an image first. So inside my C drive, there is a folder called images, and images there is one photo called Krishna. So to do this, use a notepad and copy this, and then Krishna. Now this is a JPG file. Okay. Now with Java, this slash is a special character, and we will need to escape it. To escape that, we can just have another slash, so that the first slash will be escaped and it will continue with the second slash. So double slash like this, and go back over here, close this, go back to our hello world application. Name is Krishna and image is JPG, and submit. Now either it is successfully submitted or it will throw an error. Let's actually connect to the database and see if our values has been pushed. So this is SQL plus, this is a command line client for the Oracle database. Now connect to DBMS. Enter password SUMA, and now it is connected. Select star from vStore. As you can see, the image is the image is stored inside the database. Now, the earlier value is coming because I ran this application earlier as well, and it is storing the earlier ones. Now let's actually remove this, delete from B store. Now there will be no data, no row selected. Let us again execute this, go back over here, krishna.jpg, and now check if we are able to see something. And yes, we can see one file with the name Krishna and image as a blob character stored inside our database. Now let us go back to our Eclipse editor and let us give an option to the user saying that your image has been successfully saved in the database. Right now there is nothing by which the user can come to know whether it is saved or not. To do that, we will have to create a print writer class. Print writer, say for example out equal to, and response, because we are printing in the response, dot response dot get writer, and then let the compiler know what is it is. Right click and import java.io, which is fine. And over here let us say out.println and then image successfully saved. So now we'll have a message on the back to the browser saying that your image was successfully saved. And in case if we do not get this message, it means it has gone to the exception and the image was not saved. Okay, one more thing before actually closing, we need to close the stream. So is.close, and we can close the file as well. So file dot, no need to close the file, I guess. Okay, so stream.close should be enough. Okay, now say for example you want to display these values on inside the browser. Let's create another servlet that is going to display these values. So file, again go to servlet, and I'll say display blob and save it. Again we get and post methods, do get and do post method. Do post goes to do get, so all our requests will come to do get method inside Eclipse. And over here let us again create a connection, get the data from the database and display it onto the browser. To do this, let us first of all create a connection to the database. Data manager dot get connection, it will return as a connection object, connection con, explain to the editor that connection is an IO SQL object. Now once we have the connection, create a prepared statement, statement ps equal to con dot prepared statement, and then let us get all the records from the database. Select star from bstore is going to get us all the records, and let the compiler understand what is prepared statement. It will ask for try catch, surround it in try catch. Okay, so now we have got a prepared statement and a query. Let us execute this query. So ps dot execute query, the output will come inside a result set object, rs equal to, like this. Let the compiler understand what is result set. So import result set, everything is .sql. Okay. Now while there are objects inside the result set method, I mean there are rows from the database, what we have to do is display it onto the browser. Now to display onto the browser, we again require print writer response.getWriter thing. So print writer out equal to response.getWriter, and explain what is print writer. So it is IO, and let us display the values out.println, and let us just display the name first. So name equal to rs dot get string, and it is image name, or it's just a name. We will come to know from here. So name and image, so it's just a name. So instead of image name we'll have to write name. It is fine with us. Let us execute this and see whether we are able to get this or not. To get the URL, go at the top and we will see this URL, and go back over here and just remove everything else from here. Okay. Okay, so since we have created a new servlet, we will need to restart our browser. So to do that, right click, run as, run on server, finish, restart server please. Wait for it to restart. It should be quick, and let us use this browser URL again. So let us go back over here, display blob, and oh, there is an error. What is the error? That invalid column name. So let us see what is the database structure which we have created. Okay, so the issue was that the name was wrong, so I just fixed it. And now if we run this, we should be able to see the output. So blob slash display blob is the name of the URL, and yes, we can see the name over here. Now we also need to display the image. Now to display the image, we need a blob object. Let us code that. Now we are getting a name and we are displaying. This is pretty simple, but when we want to display an image, it becomes a part of HTML. So the first thing we have to do is set the content type, or we can say response dot set content type. I'm going to make it like text slash HTML. So now an HTML code will go from the servlet to the browser, and we need a image. So to display the image, we have to have the image tag of like this image tag, and then source, from where are we going to get this image, and then close the image tag. Now the image can be really big, and we need a width and height for that. So width equal to 160 and height equal to 160. The source will be, now this is a bit tricky, we need to execute one more servlet from inside here. So let's create one more servlet here. Go to new servlet, and we'll name it this as get p, get blob. Now again everything will go from doget, and it will come to doget, and remove this line from here. Now request dot get parameter, and we have a name, and from name we have to get the image, which will be a binary stream. So string name equal to the name which is being passed. Now let's create a query. So let's make a connection again. Con equal to dp manager dot get connection. Make prepared statement, and p is capital here, and ps equal to, let the compiler understand what is connection. It is java.sql, and prepared statement also java.sql, and con.here prepare statement in the SQL. SQL will be select image from B store where name equal to question mark. So from name we are going to get the image from the database. We have to surround this in try catch. So let us surround compile Eclipse will do this for us. It's now surrounded in try catch. Let us execute this ps dot execute query. The result will be stored inside a result set blog rs equal to, again let the compiler understand what this is. Now if result set contains element like this, then we need to get the image and display it onto the screen. So let's get the blob from by getting a get blob thing. So let's do this blob equal to rs dot get binary stream, and the column name is image. What is blob? So java.sql blob rs dot get binary stream, and okay, so the stream will be the next part. The first part will be blob. So get blob, and this will get the entire blob. So now let's create a stream from this blob. So input stream is equal to blob dot get binary stream. This will create an input stream. So we are going to get a stream from the blob and then put it inside the response. Let us get an output stream equal to, the output stream will be response dot get output stream. Let us tell the compiler what this is. So java.io. Now let us get the data. So this is basically creating a pipe between the input stream and the output stream, and then passing the values from input to the output. So now let us get the data. Let us pass in the water. So to get the data we have to create a byte array, byte like this, and then we have to get the bytes from the blob. So the syntax will be byte buffer something like an array equal to new byte array, and then what should be the size should be same as blob. So blob dot get length or blob dot length, and this will be our size. We can make it as a byte. Okay, it is just lower letters, so like this byte, and this byte like this, and the length, and we have to convert this into an integer. It will be a long, so something like this. Okay, so now we have the byte. Now let us read the data from the input stream and put it inside the output stream. So is dot read and buffer. So it is going to read and put it inside the buffer, and os dot write, and what do we want to write? Buffer. So now finally it's going to stream a object of the type image, right? It's going to be blob, but we know that the content type is JPEG format. It is an image of the JPEG format. So to make the browser understand, we can write something like this: response dot set content type equal to image slash JPEG, and yeah, that should be all. Let us go back to our display, and here let us say like this that get b, or let us get the URL parameter from the get b servlet, that is this one. Copy and paste this inside over here, get b, and we have to pass name equal to. Now what is the name? Name is the parameter being passed. So we can do something like this, that we can have an object and put the name inside a variable. So string name equal to, like this, just display the name over here like this, and then pass the name over here, and again make the parameters, close the image tag, and let us run this. To run this you have to go to display blob, or let's go inside the browser itself this time. So like this, and what do we see? We see that an image is coming and the name is coming, but the image data is not coming. Let us debug this. So inside the Eclipse control, if we see missing in or out parameter in index 1. So let us go ahead in getB method and see what are we missing. We are missing the name. So this name is not being used anywhere. So we have to add this over here. So ps.setString parameter is 1 and the value is name, and then we have to execute the query. Let us clear this and now see if we are able to see the object or not. Let's go over here and fingers crossed, yes, we are able to see the image and the name as well. Let us create one more element from the images tag. So this is one more image. Let us try to get this, but it has to be of the type JPG. This will not work because it is not JPG format, and this is again PNG. Let us add the same image again with a different name. Okay, so let me go back to our Eclipse and let me have one more name inside insert b over here. Okay, let me call insert b one more time. Okay, here. So instead of Krishna, let me write it here something like Ram, and the image is successfully saved. Let's get back to the browser and see if we are able to see two images, and yes, we are able to see two images as well. Now this output is completely fine, where we can show two servlets saying that this is for insert and this is for the display, but we can have one more index page which will have a menu and the user can select on what he wants to show. So let's have one more HTML file over here. Inside blob, go to new, get an HTML file, and let us name this at index and enter, and let's go over to index and let us write some HTML statements here. So let us create a menu. So there is a command called ahref, on which if the user clicks it will be taken to a new page. So let us create that to input or say for example upload an image, and we need a ahref over here. So we can say a href, and where do you want to go, we'll come over here, and the a will come, it will close over here. So where do we want to go when he wants to upload an image? It is hello.jsp. And when he wants to display, we can just copy paste the same thing one more time. And to display, it is display blob. That doesn't have an extension because it is just a servlet. Display blob. And we can have something like display images or display. Display should be fine, I guess. Okay. So now let's run this inside our Chrome browser. Now we don't have to give anything, just blob is enough. And okay, so both of them are coming on the same page. If you click on upload image, it's taking to the hello, and display it's taking over here. Now let us make it below each other. An easier way to do that will be to encapsulate them between a paragraph tag. So paragraph started and a paragraph ended, and one more paragraph started and the paragraph is end. Let's go back over here and let us again go to blob. You don't have to write index, and this is fine. Create upload and display should display the images. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching, and note that this is just for the examination. This code is not a production code because we have not used connection pooling, and the structure can be a bit more of quality. I mean, we can use singleton design pattern to make the connection, and we can use beans as further enhancements. Thank you again for watching this, and hope and best of luck for your exams. Thank you.